solitary confinement.
We wrote the book Letters to Our Sons. I have documented research and proof of what happens inside these prisons' walls.
My name's Martin Gromulat. I'm a former attorney. I used to practice law. I don't do that anymore. And I came to the criminal justice system because I had a mental health issue. A couple of years ago, I became very manic. And for folks who are familiar with bipolar, bipolar is when you can become very excited and then very depressed. And at one point, I became very excited and very agitated. And when the police came to check on me, instead of taking me to a hospital or to get checked out psychiatrically, they took me to jail. So I spent probably about 3 months in jail, about half of that time in solitary confinement. And so it occurred to me, if a white man, a privileged white man who's educated, middle class, if this could happen to them, I realized it could happen to anyone. And it just occurred to me also that, no one should be in solitary confinement, especially people who are sick, because it really, the sort of the isolation, 23 hours a day or more, can really affect their mental health. And I went in, being very sick, and I came out with a lot more issues than I went in on. So when I got out, I stopped practicing law, and I found a new calling, which was I'm doing mental health advocacy now. And when I found the HALT movement, alternatives to solitary confinement in New York State, it really spoke to me. And I found Victor Pate. He's just a wonderful person. So now I'm involved as much as I can, going up to Albany regularly, speaking out at town halls. Because there is a very big, the criminal justice system is broken, the mental health system is broken, and I think as Dawn had said earlier, if anything I say helps one person or one family or one mother, then I think my work is worthwhile, and that's sort of what brings me here today.
Yeah, I've been incarcerated now for 19 years. To be honest with you, it just made 19 years today. I think it was today. And not today, tomorrow it'll make 19 years calendar. And I came into this project when I met the sister Dawn, pretty much just in all of the stuff that's been going on with Mississippi Department of Corrections, all of the stuff that's going on down here with the riots and things of that nature. There, I lost my baby brother, and I'm in Mississippi Department of Corrections. Yes, I lost my cousin. I lost my cousin, and I lost my little brother. I lost my cousin the first day I lost my cousin on the 29th, and then on the 2nd, I lost my brother. In the midst of what they say, in the midst of a gang war. That's really what it was. They call it a riot, but it was a gang war. What happened was I got a call from my little sister in Chicago, and she had asked me. She was like, "Say it ain't so," and I just, I'm like, "What you talking about?" She like, they say Ro got killed." I'm like, "Nah, I just talked to Ro." And so what I did was I made a couple calls here inside the system, trying to find out what had happened. And once I gave the guys my brother name, they was like, "Yeah, he did, bro." So it's kind of like a division between my family because he's my biological brother, but he was adopted. So we got like two different legal families. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't call the biological side. They called his legal side and told the mother that raised him and everything what had happened. So the biological part of his family, which was me and the rest of them, we found out through the prison system.
When something like that happens and the prison is aware that, you have lost, relatives within the system, do they provide you with any kind of counseling, whether even it be like a social worker or a chaplain or anybody?
Honestly, what they do is they just tell you what's going on, and that's really it. Depending on your custody level will depend on if you're able to go to the funeral. But really they don't do anything for you if somebody passed away. My mother passed away in 2009, and I was like, I think it was 11 days away from being 6 months right up free, you know. And they told me, it was like, we would let you go, but you're not 6 months RVR free. And I'm like, well, when is it? And they was like, well, you 11 days away. So I was like, this is my mother that just passed away. You know, I'm sure y'all can make some kind of exception for 11 days. And they was like, no, we can't make no exception. So it's really no real help whatsoever. You know, they just inform you of what's going on.
I'm surprised that there wasn't even like a chaplain.
The chaplain told him, but that's all. He said, your mother passed, I'm very sorry. That's it. There was no counseling. There was no nothing. So the chaplains, some chaplains are better than others if you have a relationship with them. But I mean, there are like hundreds of guys in prison. And some of the chaplains, well, most of them, they aren't, they're not working with those that are incarcerated. They might help out a little bit, but most of the time you don't get any counseling. Even if you do need counseling, there was one person who was raped, gang raped, and he got, 15 minutes of counseling once a month. How was that helpful? So there's a whole lot going on there.
First is you're giving mostly young white males power over, mostly brown brothers and sisters. And there is that sense of we're in control. There's very little oversight, and it is really dehumanizing. They do need training, like in interpersonal relationships, and in how to treat different people, right? Cultural competence. And one of the most meaningful things I found when I was incarcerated was when a social worker came and spoke to me for 10 or 15 minutes even, that just treated me like a fellow human being and empathized with what I was going through. Instead of most of your interaction is with COs who did treat you as less than human. And again, that really plays on your mind. Psychologically, it's just terrible because, you're a human being no matter where you are, even if you're behind bars, and you should still be treated that way.
I want to say this. When I first came in the system, I came in young with a 30 mandatory sentence. You see what I'm saying? And I was young, I was wild. You see what I'm saying? Okay, I ended up getting locked down. I did 3.5 years locked down in a cell. All right. That time right there, I don't know where I'll be at if it wasn't for that time. But I say this here, the time will make you or it'll break you. At first, what I was dealing with when I first went into that cell, because I didn't know anything about that particular the way they was doing things. All I knew was I was thinking that I was gonna be locked down for like 6 months.
Now, when you say lockdown, do you mean solitary confinement?
Yes, ma'am. Solitary confinement.
Okay.
I'm talking about you might not even get a shower, and we was locked. I thought that it was just gonna be a 6-month period, but you get in those cells and the way they expect you, if you go, you have to go a year RVR free to get off. And the RVR is a rule violation report. So you have to go a complete year without getting in any kind of trouble. And what I mean by trouble is they may come through and just tell you, like for instance, I'm giving you a prime example of what I call trouble. They may come through and expect you to be out your bed with your bed made up at 9 o'clock in the morning. Let me remind you. Now, don't look at it like, well, you should do that anyway. But look at it in this way. If I'm a young and I got 30, this was on my mind at the time. Man, I got 30 mandatory years. All right. I'm locked down already. You ain't gave me no shower in a week, but you gonna come tell me that I gotta get out of my bed at 9 o'clock in the morning and make my bed. And I already know that I'm not coming out the hole for at least a year. Man, get away from my door. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mentality. So next thing you know, that's a write-up. So that write-up might land me, 13, 14 months. Then I might go 7, 8 months without getting any trouble. I might have another one of them mornings where I just don't feel like getting up. Get away from my door. Now that's 7 months gone down the drain, and I got to start all the way over again. And not to mention the fact that you feeding us bad. They banging and beating on the tin all day long. You're going through so much mental strain from your family. You're going through what you're going through. It's just a lot that a person have to deal with,
Buy the book, Letters to Our Sons, now available on Amazon. This series is produced, directed, and edited by Edge City Design. Interviewer is Patty Meyer. Technical advisor is John Gilbert of Videotech Global.
This is From Within. www.fromwithinseries.com